Okay, welcome to Module 6. Today we're going to be looking at power and language. We're going to be addressing some of the theories that are central to understanding the reason for some of the power dynamics in the classroom around literacy and language. I hope that you understand and that you see that my emphasis is much more on the practice of teaching, but I think it's really, really important that we understand the theory that is supporting what we do in the classroom and help us understand why best practices are in fact best practices. So what I'm going to be looking at today is systematic functional linguistics. And systemic functional linguistics is the study of the relationship between language and its function in social settings. It is a topic that really looks at language in a very robust way, and its main proponent was Michael Halliday. Aspects of language that systemic functional linguistics look at are the semantics, the phonology, and the syntax. So we look at language, what does a word mean? We look at it, how is it spoken, how is it sounded out, and then also the syntax. These are all things that can vary from language to language. They can vary from dialect to dialect. We're very aware of that. We often laugh at each other. You meet with somebody from Boston and they laugh at you if you order a pop. We know that certain areas say things differently. The South with the Southern drawl. And so these things, aspects of language, are very carefully studied in systemic functional grammar. There are really 4 claims that are critical to this theory. Language is functional. Language in and of itself is kind of utilitarian. It has a job to do. Its function is to make meaning for us. Those meanings that language makes are influenced by social and cultural contexts. And the process of using language is a semiotic process of meaning by choosing. I really want to emphasize this idea that it is meaning by choosing, meaning that the role of the meaning maker through language, semiotic means that you're kind of studying signs, symbols. It's really, really important that part of what we have to do when we're involved in a literacy event is we're constantly choosing from the different types of meanings a symbol might have. We're constantly having to discern that symbol. So it's really important to understand just how complex language is, how abstract the thinking language requires, and then this idea that it is something that's not fixed. A meaning isn't fixed. A meaning is contextual. A meaning is driven by the social constructs and things like that. So there are functions in functional grammar looks at the functions of language. Ideation. Language helps us to understand, to make sense of experiences that we have, both around us, things that we witness, that we see, and inside of us, things that we feel or that we think. So those are really, a metafunction is ideation, identity. Another very important function is interpersonal. It helps us to interact with the social world, helping us to negotiate rules and attitudes and kind of see ourselves situated within that greater context. And then the last one is textual. Language allows us to create messages that help us to share our meaning. And it's important to understand that language, no matter how it's being used, it's really all 3 of these functions are happening simultaneously in just about every literacy event. All right, when we think about the implications of these ideas, I thought this was a really cool, very short 4-minute video where somebody's looking at the use of language and power in the classroom. So let me pull this up for you, and I'll talk to you on the other side of it.
which means that when it comes to enunciation and diction, I don't even think of it because I'm articulate. So when my professor asks a question and my answer is tainted with the connotation of urbanized suggestion, there's no misdirected intention. Pay attention because I'm articulate. So when my father asks, what kind of thing is this? My articulate answer never goes amiss. I say, Father, this is the impending problem at hand, and when I'm on the block, I switch it up just because I can. So when my boy says, what's good with you, son? I say, I just fall out with them people, but I done. And sometimes in class, I might pause the intellectual sound and flow to ask, yo, why these books never be about my peoples? Yes, I have decided to treat all three of my languages as equal because I'm articulate. But who controls articulation? Because the English language is a multifaceted oration subject to indefinite transformation. Now you may think that it is ignorant to speak broken English, but I'm here to tell you that even articulate Americans sound foolish to the British. So when my professor comes on the block and says hello, I stop him and say, no, you're being inarticulate. The proper way is to say what's good. Now, you may think that's too hood. That's not cool. But I'm here to tell you that even our language has rules. So when mommy mocks me and says, y'all be mad going to the store, I say, mommy, no, that sentence is not following the law. Never does the word mad go before a present participle. That's simply the principle of this English. If I had the vocal capacity, I would sing this from every mountaintop, every suburbia, and every hood. Because the only God of language is the one recorded in the Genesis of this world, saying it is good, so I may not always come before you with excellency of speech, but do not judge me by my language and assume that I'm too ignorant to teach, because I speak 3 tongues. One for each, home, school, and friends. I'm a trilingual orator. Sometimes I'm consistent with my language now, then switch it up so I don't bore later. Sometimes I fight back 2 tongues while I use the other one in the classroom, and when I mistakenly mix them up, I feel crazy like I'm cooking in the bathroom. I know that I had to borrow your language because mine was stolen. But you can't expect me to speak your history wholly while mine is broken. These words are spoken by someone who is simply fed up with the Eurocentric ideals of this season. And the reason I speak a composite version of your language is because mine was raped away along with my history. I speak broken English so the profusing gashes can remind us that our current state is not a mystery. I'm so tired of the negative images that are driving my people mad. So unless you've seen it rob a bank, stop calling my hair bad. I'm so sick of this nonsensical racial disparity, so don't call it good unless your hair is known for donating to charity as much as has been raped away from our people. How can you expect me to treat their imprint on your language as anything less than equal? Let there be no confusion. Let there be no hesitation. This is not a promotion of ignorance. This is a linguistic celebration. That's why I put trilingual on my last job application. I can help to diversify your consumer market is all I wanted them to know. And when they call me for the interview, I'll be more than happy to show that I can say what's good, what's agwan, and of course, hello. Because I'm articulate.
Okay.
They'll start to see how I perceive the world as an artist who has a sensory disorder.
The lessons I learned about.
Sorry about that. Okay. So we need to embrace this idea that when we are looking at language and literacy through the socio-cultural lens, there is going to be controversy. We are going to have to make stands. I think about definitely race, issues of immigration in today's world, issues of gender and sexuality. These are things that are really powerful and important social dividers in our country, but in the English class or in the literacy classroom, it becomes important that we don't use those as ways to further divide us, but to help us to see the shared human experience. And so recognizing that we're getting to the end of the class, that you're going to be spending quite a bit of time in the next couple of weeks, hopefully on your final project, I have kind of simplified our work for this week. And hopefully to give you some sense of your professional responsibility and also this idea that you are part of a community. So what I've done is I'm going to upload on Leo the ILA, International Literacy Association Leadership Statement on Diversity. Then I'm also going to provide a link. NCTE has a number of position statements about diversity, a number of things from ebonics to culturally responsive teaching. What I'd like you to do is I'd like you to pick one that for you personally kind of spoke to you. And then in the forum, I'd like you to make a thoughtful comment about the readings, connecting what you read to this course and to your own teaching. And then I'd like you to go ahead and comment on the posts of your classmates. Also, as a way to empower us as professionals, I'd like you to use the forum to gather a list of texts, songs, movies, paintings, anything, any type of text. Broaden your idea of text. And think about those that we can use in our classrooms that can address issues of inclusion. Give some of your best ideas. This is informal. It's okay if you give me a list. It's okay if you add links to things, to Amazon. Think in terms of I'm creating a resource, a shared resource for us. And that will be great because we'll do this again next week with strategies and tools that we have. And then I just want you to keep working on your final project. So this will probably be the last video for the course, but we'll have one more module with a couple of things to do, and then also your final project. All right, thank you very much. I hope you all have a wonderful rest of the day and rest of the week.